A quiet courtroom holds heavy words and life-altering decisions. A single folder sitting on a polished wooden table can change a child's world forever. When parents fight for custody, they often believe the presiding judge is the primary person listening to their side of the story. But in many courtrooms, the true decision-making power rests in a detailed report written by a neutral observer long before the trial even begins. The legal system calls this independent observer a guardian ad litem. In simple terms, a guardian ad litem acts as a court-appointed representative dedicated entirely to the child's needs. While the mother and father hire aggressive attorneys to champion their individual demands, this court-appointed figure enters the legal battle with a singular purpose. Their sole job is to protect the best interest of the child above all competing adult desires and courtroom tactics. To construct a complete picture of the family environment, the observer conducts a full custody evaluation. They knock on front doors, walk through children's bedrooms, and watch ordinary dinner routines unfold. They interview school teachers, pediatricians, counselors, and close family neighbors. Step by step, they gather intimate details of daily home life to see what really happens after the public front fades away for the day. For a parent fighting for their parental rights, this intense scrutiny feels like living under a harsh spotlight. Every raised voice during a tense moment, every unmade bed, and every past mistake can become a permanent note in an official court filing. A single bad day at home can easily be transformed into a major claim that threatens a mother or father's legal standing in court for years to come. Through this broad investigative authority, the court observer quickly becomes an invisible judge whose recommendation is rarely ignored by the court. Family court judges oversee hundreds of active files each week and simply lack the time to visit private residences themselves. When the investigator files their final written report, the court treats those pages as the most accurate and reliable picture of the child's true living conditions. A single clear recommendation within the report can alter parenting schedules almost overnight. It can reduce weekend visits, change primary physical custody, or mandate supervised contact in formal settings. The report functions much like expert witness testimony, presenting personal impressions as verified facts that carry far more weight than emotional claims made by competing ex-spouses during heated trial testimony. Yet this powerful legal mechanism is far from flawless. Human investigators bring their own personal backgrounds, internal biases, and potential blind spots to every home they inspect. A brief 2-hour home visit or a single misconstrued comment can produce a deeply flawed conclusion. That single flawed conclusion can unexpectedly reshape a family's personal bond and limit a loving parent's access for many years to come. When a parent receives a damaging report in the mail, the room suddenly feels cold. They read through pages of official observations that feel distorted, biased, or completely false. In that heavy moment, they come to a hard realization. Fighting their former partner was only the opening phase of the legal conflict. Now they must take on the very investigator whom the judge trusts above all others in the courtroom. Challenging a court observer's findings is widely considered one of the most difficult tasks in modern family law. A lawyer cannot simply stand up in court and complain that the report seems unfair or rude. To achieve a real breakthrough, the legal defense must prove that the investigator ignored vital evidence, relied on unverified rumors, or failed to follow accepted custody evaluation standards during their investigation. The primary legal battle takes place during intense courtroom cross-examination. A skilled attorney places the court-appointed observer on the witness stand, dissecting the written report sentence by sentence. They examine exactly how many hours were actually spent with each parent, highlight missing factual checks, and expose every key witness that the investigator chose to ignore during the evaluation process, forcing the court to question the document. In crowded judicial systems, judges rely heavily on these neutral evaluations to clear packed calendars and render quick decisions. Courts view these court-appointed advocates as unbiased eyes and ears in a setting dominated by fierce arguments. Because of this structural reliance, a judge will rarely toss out a completed report without overwhelming proof of serious procedural errors or obvious personal bias on the record. Behind the stacks of filed motions and complex legal arguments stands a child trapped in the middle of a conflict. While adults fight over custody percentages and written findings, young children absorb the quiet tension surrounding them. They speak with the court observer during private sessions, feeling deeply torn between their love for both parents and their fear of making the wrong statement to an official. Attorneys frequently file formal evidentiary motions in an attempt to exclude or restrict a problematic report before trial begins. They argue that the investigator overstepped their designated authority, offering clinical or psychological opinions without proper professional credentials. Every motion submitted to the court must rely on verified legal precedents and documented court records rather than simple emotional appeals or personal grievances against the evaluator. If a motion to set aside the report fails, the observer's document becomes the central foundation of the entire legal dispute. Its written recommendations shape temporary court orders and dictate the terms of settlement discussions. A parent who receives an unfavorable report often feels immense pressure to accept a difficult compromise, just to preserve basic visitation rights and stay present in their child's daily life. It is important to consider how easily ordinary home situations can be misread during a brief inspection. A delayed evening meal or an untidy playroom might be framed in an official report as signs of chronic parental instability. Conversely, a quiet home can hide serious emotional distance, allowing a polished parent to present an ideal image that masks underlying issues from the observer's eye. Family law grants trial judges broad discretion when deciding what truly aligns with the best interest of the child. However, judicial discretion relies heavily on the accuracy of the underlying facts presented to the court. When a court observer delivers a smooth and persuasive narrative, busy judges naturally lean on those conclusions to resolve high-stress custody cases as efficiently as possible, leaving little room for doubt. To successfully dismantle a biased report, a parent must build an unassailable record of objective evidence. Official school attendance records, detailed medical histories, and recorded text exchanges serve as vital defensive tools in trial. Overturning the conclusions of a court-appointed expert requires undeniable physical records that clearly contradict the investigator's written claims and expose major inconsistencies directly to the judge. The psychological strain placed on parents during this lengthy evaluation period is profound. Months can pass while the investigator conducts interviews and drafts recommendations, leaving families in an agonizing state of limbo. Parents feel compelled to monitor every word and action, fully aware that a single minor misunderstanding could cost them precious time with their children for years to come. When a sharp courtroom cross-examination reveals major gaps or hidden bias in the investigator's work, the atmosphere in the courtroom shifts instantly. The observer's standing as an untouchable expert begins to falter under direct questioning. The court is forced to recognize that behind the official document was a flawed or rushed investigation, reopening the path for a much fairer legal outcome for the family. Despite these rare victories, exposing a flawed report remains a formidable challenge for any litigant in family court. The vast majority of guardian ad litem reports pass through the court system without encountering significant opposition. The legal structure inherently trusts the observer's neutral role, imposing a heavy burden on any parent who attempts to disprove the official recommendations submitted directly to the presiding judge. The court's final custody order dictates where a child lives, where they attend school, and how their daily life unfolds.
The observer's written words remain permanently in the official court file, shaping the legal rules and boundaries that govern family relationships for years into the future, long after the courtroom doors have closed for the final time on the trial. In the high-stakes realm of family court, the guardian ad litem remains one of the most influential figures in the entire legal process. Their written report builds the ultimate bridge between private family dynamics and enforceable legal orders. Understanding how these reports are compiled, evaluated, and challenged is essential for anyone fighting to protect their relationship with their child under the law.